What if I told you that depression is not what you think? We have been taught that depression is a mental disorder, and that those with depression are the exception to the norm. But what if depression is not the exception to the norm, but the normal, appropriate response to an unhealthy society? Gabor Mate is a renowned addiction and trauma expert and author. He teaches that depression is not an individual problem, but rather a societal problem, and that depression is a normal response to the unhealthy and abnormal circumstances that make up our societal structure. Gabor reminds us what the word depression means literally: to push down. The implication is that depression is not an inherited mental disease, but the result of learning and having to push down one's emotions as a child. So, how then do we heal from depression? We heal depression through connecting to our true self and learning to express our true self. We heal depression through healing society's imbalanced priorities and unhealthy standards, and through healing our addiction to technology by developing the interpersonal skills we are lacking because of our overdependence on technology and social media. In this video, we will break down what depression is and the two most important steps to heal from depression. We will share 5 simple actions to take to begin your healing right now. Western medicine teaches that there are genetic markers that predispose someone to depression. However, Mate argues that there has not been a specific gene or group of genes proven responsible for these mental health conditions.
The abnormality is in a society that generates these illnesses, and that these illnesses or these conditions are normal responses to abnormal circumstances.
Mate shares that depression is always healable because the true self is always available to you. He teaches that most of us have lost the connection to our authentic self.
The loss of connection itself is an adaptation. Why is that an adaptation? Because if it's so painful to be myself, I better disconnect.
Gabor teaches that as human beings, we have 2 fundamental needs outside of our physical needs. These 2 fundamental needs are attachment and authenticity. He describes human beings as an attachment-driven species.
And attachment is contact, connection, love. Without that, the human child does not survive. So attachment is a huge need. We have to connect, belong, be loved by, and love. That's just a basic human need.
Endorphins and the body's endorphin system help the body to create attachment. When there is stress and trauma present in early development, the endorphin system is disrupted and does not properly develop. When this happens, the baby or toddler creates coping mechanisms to replace the attachment and endorphin system development. One example of an early developmental coping mechanism is thumb sucking to soothe oneself to sleep. The second fundamental need all humans have is the need for authenticity. Authenticity is knowing who we are, being connected to who we are, and acting in a way that is aligned with who we are, based on our own internal guidance system. Gabor Mate says that gut feelings are a part of authenticity, and that early man relied heavily on authenticity, or these gut feelings, to survive external danger and threats. He says that advancements in evolution have made us no longer prioritize our need for authenticity. Gabor gives the example of anger. Anger is an emotion that is not accepted in society, and thus not accepted by our caregivers. A child may become angry simply because they cannot have a cookie after dinner, Gabor says. A common parental response to the child is that good kids do not get angry. Gabor says that the message the child receives is not that good children do not get angry, but that angry kids do not receive love.
The attachment need is not compatible with the need for authenticity. In other words, if I'm authentic, my parents will reject me. Now what does the child do with that? Well, if I give up my attachment for the sake of authenticity, I lose my relationships on which my life depends. Therefore, there's no question. What becomes...
Gabor states that because the need for attachment is stronger than the need for authenticity, the child will suppress their authenticity and make a habit of suppressing authenticity in order to stay attached and receive love. This often manifests as disowning our own needs and sense of self in order to stay connected to the family unit. Most people don't consciously realize they've lost connection with themselves. They have become depressed, but don't know what depression really means, and don't realize that they have options to heal from depression outside of medication, if they so choose. We must restore our connection to ourselves, and we must heal society's unhealthy standards. To heal ourselves, we must connect to our true self and express our true self. One tool to connect to our true self is meditation. Meditation is the practice of non-judgmental observation. Using points of focus, including the breath, the environment, and our thoughts, we build the muscle of presence and focus. Meditation is a tool to become aware of our thoughts, our needs, our emotions, preferences, and boundaries. By simply noticing what thoughts and emotions are present, and not resisting them but allowing them, we become experts of understanding, and understanding ourselves on an emotional level. This allows us to recognize and better understand our core values, needs, and desires. Because we hold our emotions somatically, somatic therapy is a powerful tool to connect to ourselves and form safety in our body. Without feeling safe in our own body, it is very difficult to connect to our true self. This is why somatic therapies are a great place to start and may feel less intimidating than other therapy methods. Psychotherapy with a trained counselor or professional can also assist us in creating a safe container to learn and connect to who we really are, and develop skills to authentically connect with others. Having and nurturing our personal interests is critical to feel a sense of purpose and joy. If you do not know what your interests are, you can make it your goal to try out different things, such as art, yoga, dancing, cooking, writing, etc. Start with something you've always been interested in, and allow yourself to pursue this interest for the pure joy it brings you, not for the outcome or what you can produce. We all need interests that we pursue simply because we love them, not to perform or be productive. To heal from depression, we must shift our perspective when it comes to our emotions. We can see our emotions as messengers. Anger is a messenger that a boundary we hold has been crossed, or a need that we have is unmet. Rather than suppressing our anger, we can learn from it and follow it to the source. Anger is usually protecting us from other emotions, such as sadness, powerlessness, or loneliness. By becoming attuned to our anger, we can understand the important messages it brings us in order to meet our unmet needs in healthy ways. We can use the information our emotions are communicating to better understand our needs, boundaries, and preferences, enabling us to live more authentically moving forward. Through the self-awareness we cultivate, we are able to live a life that is in alignment with our needs, desires, preferences, and goals. In doing so, over time, we experience more joy, satisfaction, and well-being as a whole. It is normal to feel both negative and positive emotions. We must have both in order to experience each. Being joyful is a great goal, though it is impossible to feel happy and joyful all the time. Rather than making feeling good all the time our goal, we can use our negative emotions as information. We can also find ways to assist our body and mind to feel our natural best through chemistry. Endorphins are the body's natural opioids. Most simply put, endorphins give a sense of well-being and support a more positive outlook. Spending time in nature, and specifically connecting the soles of the feet to the earth, or earthing, facilitates the natural release of endorphins. Exercise, laughing, meditating, and physical touch are all ways to naturally release endorphins. Humans are social creatures, hardwired for connection. While social media is not inherently bad, it is harmful when we use social media as a replacement for our social and emotional needs. The instant gratification and false sense of connection fostered by social media has created an imbalance biologically and led to higher depression rates in young adults than ever before seen in previous generations. According to Review.org, 47% of Americans consider themselves addicted to their phones. Societally, we have developed a chemical addiction to our phones and social media. Simon Sinek teaches that millennials especially have grown up with artificial connection replacing authentic connection.
So much of their relationships exist online, so much of their communication exists over text or direct message, that there's a generation, unfortunately, there are too many of them, who literally aren't learning the skills of how to talk to people. The ability to form deep, meaningful relationships, the ability to have difficult conversations.
We are hyper-focused on the number of likes we receive and how perfect we can appear on social media, and are consequently deprived of the ability and skills needed to connect. Technology addiction is just as dangerous as substance abuse. because it has robbed us of the ability to form meaningful, authentic relationships, communicate, have difficult conversations, and have the courage to ask for help when we need it. We must actively teach and prioritize these skills, which Sinek calls human skills, just as we prioritize technical skills in all aspects of our society, including education, the corporate world, in our family structures, and on an individual level. Simon also teaches that technology advancements have taught us to think that all life must always be instantly gratifying. Simon shares that the instant gratification we receive from smartphones and social media has caused us to falsely believe that all of life should work this way, including our career and love life. When we do not receive instant satisfaction and gratification in our career and relationships, we feel like failures and become depressed as a result.
And the problem is they think that that satisfaction in life, fulfillment, or even love and friendship happen just as immediately, and they don't. It takes time and it takes unbelievable hard work. And the problem is they're not learning the skills to make friends. They're not learning the skills to fall in love. They're not learning the skills to talk to people. They're not learning the skills to find fulfillment because it's slow and it's boring and it's human.
We must teach that relationships involve showing up and doing the work every single day. We must teach that the journey of our career will have many ups and downs, rather than the unrealistic expectation that it will be one continuous upward movement. Here are 5 steps to begin to heal from depression right now. 1. Know that you are not alone, and that there is nothing wrong with you. Your brain and body operates like a computer, adhering to its earliest conditioning, or coding. Your depression is not a result of a mental disorder, but the appropriate and normal response to an unhealthy society. 2. Connect to your true self. Make it your mission to learn who you really are, what you want, and what you believe. 3. Learn how to communicate, express your emotions, have difficult conversations, and express your needs and boundaries in all areas of life. 4. See emotions as messengers, and learn as much as you can from them when they arise. 5. See all parts of life as a journey, not a destination. Give yourself the space and permission to make mistakes, to learn, and change your mind. Remember, your life is in your hands.
you.